reaction to and response to that collision on the M9, where a vehicle containing 5 youths drove the wrong way down the motorway and smashed headfirst into a car containing 3 women and a small child. The response, politically and beyond, continues. Stephen Breen is with us, crime editor with the Irish Sun. There's sort of a litany of promises now emerging governmentally, starting potentially with new legislation, Stephen.
That's right. This is something, Anton, that the GRA have been calling for quite some time. They have called for new legislation to be introduced which can assist Gardaí when they are in pursuit, of individuals who are engaged in reckless driving and also dangerous driving. And I think it's hoped that this legislation can come into force, pretty quickly. I know you have other members of the GRA who said that there could be delays to this and it might be until 2027, but they want to see it introduced now, and it's something that they've been calling for quite some time. I've also spoken to victims of individuals, an individual who lost his life in North Dublin 2 years ago, and it's something that he was calling for when his brother was killed, Mickey Farley, that he wanted to see stronger legislation to act as a deterrent for those who engage in driving in such a reckless manner, but also more support for the Gardaí.
And this is because Gardaí feel, with some legitimacy, that if they engage in pursuing a car, they do so at great personal risk.
You have different elements to it where you have Gardaí are insisting that they haven't got the specialist training to help them deal with pursuits of the nature when they're trying to stop people driving at excessive speeds in a reckless manner, and they also just want more support, because if they do engage in a pursuit of a vehicle which is acting recklessly, then there's a danger that they could be brought before the courts themselves, that they could face discipline. So it's been all about support, and this is something that's certainly going to the GRA conferences around the country. This is something that they've been calling for since at least 5 years ago, and it's something that they want to see introduced pretty quickly.
Well, a little bit later in the programme, we're going to be talking to Declan Higgins, who's president of the Association of Garda Sergeants and Inspectors, about exactly that issue. But the other main significant issue that the Gardaí have had for the last number of years has been lack of personnel in the traffic corps. 40%-ish reduction from north of 1,000 to just barely north of 600 people. Any promises in respect of that?
Well, that's just something that they're going to address. Obviously, the Guards have been addressing in recent times. You've had the Minister, Jim O'Callaghan, as well, addressing that, trying to recruit, new members into the force. But certainly some politicians have been calling for an increased level of resources to the roads policing unit. There has been quite a remarkable drop, which you mentioned there. So again, that's another issue that the GRA and both the AGSI, the other Garda union, have called for. So hopefully, that's something that can be addressed as well by the government over the coming months.
You talked about legislation to support Gardaí and training sports in respect of pursuit. The other legislative measure that has been mooted has been Jim O'Callaghan saying we'll have to consider the introduction of a separate offence in respect of individuals who make a deliberate decision to drive their vehicles the wrong way down a motorway. Is that to suggest that people who would otherwise drive their vehicles the wrong way down a motorway will suddenly stop and say, hang on a minute, this is a separate offence, we best not do it?
Well, there are a number of offences that individuals can be charged with, like the incident that we saw at the weekend, reckless driving, dangerous driving, or causing death by dangerous driving. But if that's a separate offence, then that can be a different deterrent, and that's something certainly that some victims I've spoken to would call for as well. And if there are stronger deterrents in place, when these young people get into the cars, they're driving recklessly because they are often using social media to taunt Gardaí because they know the guards won't follow them down the motorway if they go the wrong way. So if that is a separate charge, then hopefully that's something that can act as a deterrent and perhaps put a stop to this type of behaviour.
Stephen, thank you very much. Stephen Breen there, crime editor with the Irish Sun. As I say, later in the programme, Declan Higgins, president of the Association of Garda Sergeants and Inspectors, will be with us. We return to the response, both political and legislative, in respect of that horror collision on the M9, where a car containing 5 teenagers drove the wrong way up the motorway and crashed into a car with 3 women and a small child on their way to the airport, putting all 4 of those people into serious condition into hospital, and of course ending the lives of the 5 in the car. In a moment I'm going to be talking to Shane Moynihin, who's Fianna Fáil TD for Dublin Midwest, Deputy Chair of the Oireachtas Transport Committee and Party Spokesperson on Transport. But first, Declan Higgins is with us, President of the Association of Garda Sergeants and Inspectors. Declan, there are a series of new measures being mooted in respect of giving extra support to the Gardaí. Before we address those, how significant has the diminution in traffic corps members been on your capacity to actually police? You're down from over 1,000 to about 600 now.
Good morning, Anton, and good morning to all your listeners. Thanks very much for having me on the show. I suppose first I should start by acknowledging our shock and our sadness with regard to this accident. We all can understand a young family heading on a family holiday at that hour of the morning, the excitement in the car, and to be met by this horror, and obviously the 5 other families that have been so devastated by this, and the questions must be asked of how these young lives went down this path in the first place to find ourselves in this position. It's very sad for all. And obviously to the Gardaí and ambulance and fire service that attended the scene, I think we can't forget the psychological injuries caused to them, having attended such a horrific scene as you described it there. I think that also has to be acknowledged, and our thoughts are with all of those and all those families. To answer your question, obviously, a 40% drop in the number of roads police and Gardaí across the country is of concern. There's been large public commentary on this for a number of years, and obviously ourselves have been advocating, and so have our colleagues in the GRA, for those numbers to be increased. Now, we know we'll be met with answers that, there is a shortage of resources in Gardaí out there as a whole. There is large recruitment campaigns going on, but they're not coming fast enough. We don't have enough Gardaí on the ground. But when we see the road deaths rising at the rate they have been over the last couple of years, we see horrific instances like this. And I'd like to remind our listeners, this isn't the first time. If members remember, our people remember back to 2021, on the N7, there was a similar incident where 3 young men were killed. So this has been going on quite a long while, these kind of horrific instances.
But so too has the drop in, so too in the drop in traffic corps numbers. It is 9 years since the corps dropped by 40%, and there has been no increase in that period. No significant increase.
There has not been, no. And it is shocking. And the lack of response is very worrying. And it also feeds into not only the Garda numbers down there, the equipment and the resources available to those few RPU members that are left of those policing units. It has been decreasing as well. If we go back to the Crow report that was published in 2025, even that made very clear criticisms to Garda management regarding the equipment, the vehicles and the training that those members are getting. So not only have their numbers been dropping, the quality of their training and equipment has also decreased to a significant level.
What about the level of support that they got? Because one of the other things that we have seen has been Gardaí being prosecuted, rightly or wrongly, for their actions during pursuits of suspects. I assume that must have a chilling effect on members.
It does. Of course it does. It has a huge morale impact. And there's 10 members of Garda Síochána, I believe, at the moment before the courts facing prosecution. I'll go back to the incident in 2021. There's a member facing prosecution in relation to that. And this has a huge effect towards morale within Garda Síochána. And the lack of training for those members, and the lack of support, and the lack of backing from both government and from Garda management for these Gardaí out doing their job is of serious concern. When I first joined the job, there was confidence, I think, amongst Gardaí that if you went out and did your job and you could support and back up your actions, that you would get the support of Garda management and the government and all the different agencies. Now we find ourselves in a position where Gardaí are being, their ability to work is being chilled, as you call it, and that's the words the Commissioner used at one stage as well, a chill effect. But they do not feel the confidence anymore, and that is reflected in these court cases where they're going out doing their job to the best of their abilities, and they find themselves possibly facing criminal prosecution, where their own lives and their own driving licences and their families are all being affected by them trying to do their job. They're not being properly supported, they're not being properly protected to do their jobs. And that's a very unfortunate position that Garda Síochána find themselves in now at the moment.
Declan, thank you very much for your time this morning. That's Declan Higgins, President of the Association of Garda Sergeants and Inspectors. As I said, I'm joined by Shane Moynihin, Fianna Fáil TD for Dublin Midwest, Deputy Chair of the Oireachtas Transport Committee and Party Spokesperson on Transport. Shane, what is your response to those two accusations made there by Declan Higgins. One, that the numbers have dropped to a level that it makes policing extremely difficult for the remaining people in the roads units. And two, that the level of support being provided to the Gardaí means that they are not feeling confident in their capacity to actually do their jobs when it comes to pursuit in these kind of situations.
Thanks, Anthony. Anton, at the outset, can I just associate myself with Declan's remarks, expressing solidarity with the victims of the crash at the weekend, but also expressing gratitude to the first responders who arrived at the scene. On the first point on the number of Gardaí in the roads policing unit, this is actually something I raised directly with the Commissioner when he came before the Transport Committee in July of this year, and specifically asked him about the number of guards that were available on roads policing. And the point he made back to me was that is now being increased over time. The number of Gardaí, this government has prioritised recruitment of additional Gardaí, getting them trained and getting them out on the front line.
9 years later, Shane. 9 years later.
He made it very clear in his contribution to the committee that it was his intention to increase that number. And he also pointed to the fact that a large majority of the detection of road traffic offences are done by frontline Gardaí that are not necessarily in roads policing units as well. But I take the general point that we do need to increase that visibility on our roads, and this is something I've been consistent in expressing and raising as well. But associated with that as well is the introduction of pursuit training. Again, this is something that was mentioned by the Minister yesterday, and something that was that I questioned the Commissioner on in July as well. That training is now in place, and there are trainers that are now in a position to start training Gardaí in this country about the pursuit training that they need and giving that support to do their jobs.
Why only now?
Sorry, the line broke up. Say it again, Anton. Why
only now?
So with respect to what's there, I take the point. This needs to be prioritised for sure. And it's something that this came up in the debate on e-scooters and scramblers on the roads as well, and something that was advocated for very strongly by the Minister and by government in terms of this government being in place to put this pursuit training in operation. And that pursuit training is in train at the moment.
But sorry, that is to suggest that the priority has only arrived on our doorstep now. It is 2009 that the roads policing numbers fell to the 40% drop from their peak of north of 1,000. And the last number of years, the data, year after year after year, has shown that we have a problem with young men making poor choices on the roads, and that one of the ways that you stop that is with guards able to interdict them. Why has it not been done before now?
So I think since this government has come into office, the number of Gardaí being recruited through Garda Síochána has increased, and that has now enabled more Gardaí to be assigned to roads policing units. Every Gardaí is required to undertake roads policing as part of their general shift as well. That shift is happening. I agree it needs to happen faster, but that shift is happening now. Investment is being made in pursuit training for members of Garda Síochána.
Sorry, with the greatest of respect, Shane, that idea that guards on the beat are going to give up half an hour a day of their time to annoy motorists in the middle of town is hardly going to impact on 24-year-old men in the middle of the night.
With the greatest respect, Anton, I think that's a very trite characterisation of the sort of roads policing that members of Garda Síochána undertake. We know that 75% of the offences that are detected in roads policing offences are detected by frontline officers that are not necessarily attached to a roads policing unit. So, with the greatest respect,
but sorry, that is to suggest that the 75% of the offences that are detected are significant in respect to the behaviour of young men, which they are not. If you are a guard who is on the beat, who is walking around town and knocking on the windows of cars, giving out to motorists, that annoys the innately law-abiding. It doesn't make a difference to 20 to 30-year-old men who are taking these kind of risky decisions.
And that's why there's legislation now being put in place to make sure that members of Garda Síochána who engage and have to engage with enforcing the law and in pursuit of those people have the necessary legislative backing and have the necessary legislative support. Without doubt, no one for a second suggesting that the guards shouldn't be given the training, the equipment and confidence to do the job properly. And that is happening now, and that is in train now, and that is something that's being prioritised by the Minister, both in terms of that legislative backing, but also in terms of the numbers of Gardaí being made available to it as well. But I think there's also another question here for us too, Anton, which is around values and why it is that young men and individuals believe that this sort of behaviour is acceptable. And that requires, I think, a conversation for us as a society, both in terms of political discussion, but also in terms of how we engage with the likes of social media companies about why this sort of behaviour has been glorified in some instances, why it's been lionised, and why it's been kind of celebrated. And how do we have that conversation, both at a kind of a society level, but also at an individual level, about why those values are ones that are being celebrated too? Because that is also a factor that has led to some of the tragedies we've seen in the last few weeks.
Finally, Shane, can I ask about the difficult balance that has to be struck in relation to the supports given to the Gardaí when they do engage in pursuits? Because Declan Higgins pointed out that there are currently 10 guards in front of the courts for choices that they made in trying to pursue suspects. On the one hand, there will be those who will say, give them all of the powers and let them chase with total abandon. On the other, there is the increased risk that comes with that. So how do you balance that and leave guards feeling that somebody has their back?
So the first, I think, for me, the starting point has to be that guards need to feel backed. They need to feel supported both by the public and by politically. We know that the vast majority of ordinary people that I meet say that they support the Gardaí in their work. So when we come and looking at that balance, that I think needs to be our starting point as well. No one for a second is saying diminish or reduce the amount of accountability that an Garda Síochána are required for the discharge of their functions. But what we are saying is that in a split second scenario, if you are in a pursuit situation or if you have to engage with a suspect or you have to make a split second decision, do you have the confidence at the back of your mind that if I make the decision to engage in a risky encounter that could stop dangerous behavior being stopped, will I have the backing of the system, and will my judgment be valued? Because in many cases we're relying on an individual Garda to make a judgment in the split second, and I think they have to have the reassurance and the confidence that the judgment they make, based on their training, based on their knowledge, and based on everything that they've built up during their career, that the state will say, in balance, we believe you will make the right judgment and we will respect you and trust you with the support to do that.
Shane, thank you very much. Shane Moynihan there, Fianna Fáil TD for Dublin Midwest and Deputy Chair of the Oireachtas Transport Committee and, of course, party spokesperson on transport.